This is the sonicware Liven Lofi-12, and we all know it's great for lo-fi hip-hop, but will it jungle? What is up, greedy guts? It's your boy Big Umami, and today we're back with yet another installment of Will It, a series in which I pick one particular groove box and find out how good it is for producing one particular genre of music. Today we're covering one of my favorite genres on one of my new favorite machines. Let's dive right in because there's a lot to talk about. Let's start with somewhat of a hot topic on this machine: slicing samples. Now, as I showed you in this previous video of mine, if you're willing to do some very simple prep work on your computer, you can import drum breaks in this particular format, which is a drum hit every quarter note for 2 bars at 120 BPM, which hits exactly the 4-second limit on the Lofi-12. This way the machine can slice it up perfectly using chop or drum mode, like so. If you don't do any prep work and just record whatever drum break with no quantization and at a whatever tempo, you're gonna run into this issue. As you can hear, the slices are all messed up. Not to worry though, there is a workaround. We're gonna enter edit mode by pressing Funk plus Sample. We'll put on the red overlay and press OK to enter edit mode. After that, we're gonna shorten our sound to get just the kick. Also, we're gonna rename this sound, and once we're done, we're going to copy it. And the way you copy sounds in edit mode is that you select a new sound and press copy. And only then you press the sound that you wanna copy from. So now we're gonna adjust the start and end point until we get our next slice. And at this point, you get the gist of it. You're gonna repeat this procedure until you end up with 8 slices. We're then gonna set the sequencer at 2 bars and 120 BPM. We're gonna turn sound lock on by pressing the parameter lock button twice, and we're gonna lay each of our slices every quarter note. In addition to that, I loaded some drum sounds from my Big Umami Bombs Volume 2 pack to reinforce the kick, the hats and the snare. And so we're gonna layer them onto these sounds and we're gonna resample the whole thing. To resample, press Funk plus Setting and then go to RSRC, which means Record Source, and choose PTN, which means Pattern. You then hit quick sampling and we're golden. Now you have a perfectly sliced loop that you can play in chop or drum mode. Let's get some chords in. I'm importing a single note, again from my new pack Big Umami Bombs Volume 2, and I'm adjusting it using edit mode with the red overlay. Turning on the loop function, I'm finding a way to make this note loop consistently at a certain point so that I can hold my notes indefinitely. I can play this polyphonically, which is super nice, but I just realized that since I'm not that good, I'm playing the same chord shape up and down the keyboard, so I might as well just use a sample of a chord to save up precious notes of polyphony. So if I go back to my sample pack, I actually have a chord in here. So I'm gonna record yet another sample from the same sound in my sample pack, but this time it's not a single note, but a chord. But what's really neat about this is that I can use this in legato mode, and I can also have an awesome glissando effect. amazing. Let's move on to the bass. I want to keep it simple here. A subby 808 will do just fine. And I'm gonna use one of the great built-in effects. You can have one per track, and in this case I'm using a tremolo pretty aggressively to emulate sort of a trance gate that was so popular back in those days. Great, now that we have all the main ingredients, I'm gonna work on the structure for a while. Maybe I'm gonna add some more extra sounds and magically cut to a point where I'm ready to jam. Now for my favorite part of the video, let's vote. So let's start with usability. In my opinion, this judgment really hinges on what your workflow looks like. If you're the type of person who really wants to just sample directly from the source, like vinyl or maybe a cassette or a CD or whatever, and really wants to bypass the computer altogether, then yes, sample slicing can be a chore on this machine. But if you're anything like me, you probably have a huge collection of pre-cut drum breaks on your computer. And it doesn't take much to just, slice them in 8 pieces at 120 BPM in any software, paid or free, that you might have on your computer, and just import them like that. It doesn't take all that much time or energy, and honestly, I don't mind it at all. Especially when then the drum or chop modes on the Liven actually work so well in the sequencer. Speaking of which, I just love this sequencer. It's so much easier when you have a row of 16 buttons separated from the actual keyboard on which to play notes. In fact, the layout of this machine makes it an absolute breeze to sequence any type of sound. Drum breaks, single shots, basses, leads, chords, whatever. And coming from more expensive machines like the SP404 MK2 or the Electron Digitact, this is actually just a nice change of pace. You also have stutter and random effects. You have 10 voices of polyphony. You have great per track effects. You have a nice sounding reverb. Also a dead easy pattern chaining feature. And most importantly, you have glissando, which I know it sounds like a very simple feature, but then again, much more expensive samplers actually don't have that. The one thing that I found a bit limiting is the fact that this is a 4-track machine, and when making jungle music, I like to use, some ear candy, lots of like little random sounds that happen every once in a while, so it's a bit difficult to achieve that. But to be honest, with the sound locking and parameter locking features, there are some workarounds with it. It's just that I didn't want to spend a whole month on this video, and so I didn't use them all that much. All in all, I'm gonna give usability a solid 8, because once again, I don't mind the whole sample chopping thing at all. You might feel different, and that's fine. Let's talk about sound. And once again, we're at crossroads here. Any judgment on this machine entirely depends on whether you like the lo-fi sound or not. If you like it, then you love this machine. If you're a bit indifferent to it, then you find this machine pretty limiting. Today, we made jungle, which is, an early precursor of what is now considered a bigger family of genres, which is drum and bass. And sure, there are many subgenres in the main family of drum and bass which require more modern, more pristine cleaner sounds. And this machine is not good at all for them. But Jungle specifically was made on early 90s samplers, which this machine kind of, directly emulates. So in my opinion, it's perfect for this genre. One little thing that I would have loved to have on this machine, however, is stereo effects. Although I found the mono delay quite endearing and sounding pretty good overall, I don't know, it lacks something, I need some stereo imaging, especially on these nice effects like chorus, flanger, delay, etc, etc. Yeah, having it in mono, it's a bit limiting. I'm pretty sure they're all mono, are they? But of course, I can be wrong. If there's a way to switch a stereo button somewhere, please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, all things considered, I'm gonna give the sound a fat 9. I just love the way this machine sounds for jungle music. And that brings the vote to 8.5. Anyway, that's it for today. I had a lot of fun making this video, but now I want to ask you, are you a completely dawless type of person, or do you think that some prep work is fine, especially when using samplers? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please, do the usual stuff, like, subscribe, and go to my bigomami.com website, where you can find some sweet, amazing, cool sample packs. And yeah, that's it. See you later, yeah? Bye-bye.